Good morning, my dear students. We were discussing in chapter 11, A Midsummer Night's Dream. We already saw the introduction portion of this chapter, the main characters, and what is happening in this scene. Presently, in this play, the characters are being assigned. Peter Quince is calling out all the names of people, those who are going to act, and he is assigning the different characters to them. We saw till Peter Quince and Nick Bottom's conversation regarding the character that Nick Bottom is going to play in that wedding day night. Now, Peter Quince is assigning Francis Float and he is giving him the character. Peter Quince called out Francis Float's name and assigned his character. Quince said, "Francis Float, the bellows mender." "Our Francis Float is the bellows repairman," Peter Quince called him. He replied that, "Here, Peter Quince." Peter Quince said, "Float, you must take Thisbe on you," which means, "Float, you will be playing the role of Thisbe." Float asked, "What is Thisbe? A wandering knight?" Which means, "Who is Thisbe? A knight on a quest?" Peter Quince answered, "It is the lady that Pyramus must love." Which means, Thisbe is the lady Pyramus is in love with. So, our Francis Float got the character of Thisbe, a woman. Francis Float was not happy with that assignment. He wanted to play some other characters. He said, "Nay, Faith, let me not play a woman. I have a beard coming." Which means, Francis Float said, "No, come on, don't make me play a woman. I am growing a beard." Peter Quince said to Francis Float, "That's all one. You shall play it in a mask, and you may speak as small as you will." Which means, that doesn't matter. You will wear a mask, and you can make your voice as high as you want to. Meanwhile, Nick Bottom interfered their conversation, and he said, "And I may hide my face. Let me play Thisbe too. I will speak in a monstrous little voice. Thisne, Thisne, ah Pyramus, lover dear, Thai Thisbe dear, and lady dear." Our Francis Float is not ready to play the character of a woman. So Nick Bottom is interfering and saying, "In that case, if I can wear a mask, let me play Thisbe too. I will be Pyramus first. Thisne, Thisne." And then in falsetto, "Ah Pyramus, my dear lover, I am your dear Thisbe, your dear lady." Like this, Bottom said that he will play the character of Thisbe and also Pyramus. First he will play as Pyramus, and after finishing the Pyramus dialogue, he will act like Thisbe and say out the dialogues of Thisbe. He was giving a small demo here. But our Peter Quince said, No, you must play Pyramus, and Float, you Thisbe." Which means, No, Bottom, you are Pyramus, and Float, you are Thisbe. Bottom said, "Well, proceed," which means, "It's all right. We will take the Pyramus and Thisbe characters, and it's not a problem, and just go on." Peter Quince again called one another person. His name is Robin Starveling, the tailor. Peter Quince called out, "Robin Starveling, the tailor." The Starveling replied, "Here, Peter Quince." And Peter Quince said to him, "Robin Starveling, you must play Thisbe's mother." And he called out one another person, Tom Snout, the thinker. Snout replied, "Here, Peter Quince." So Peter Quince said to Robin Starveling to play the role of Thisbe's mother. And he called out Tom Snout and asked him to play Pyramus' father. Peter Quince said, "You, Pyramus' father, myself, Thisbe's father. Snug, the joiner, you, the lion's part, and I hope here is a play fitted." Which means, Peter Quince said to Snot that you will be Pyramus' father, and Peter Quince himself will play the role of Thisbe's father. And one another person, Snug, the cabinet maker, he will play the part of the lion. Like this, he assigned each characters with the people, and he said, "So that's everyone. I hope this play is well cast now," which means that play is going to be a very good one. That time, Snug asked Peter Quince, "Have you the lines part written? Pray you, if it be, give it me, for I am slow of study," which means, "Do you have the lines part written down? If you do, please give it to me, because I need to start learning the lines. It makes me a long time to learn things." Peter Quince replied, "You may do it extempore, for it is nothing but roaring," which means you can improvise the whole thing. It's just roaring, no any other comments and all. Meanwhile, Nick Bottom interfered and he said, "Let me play the line too. I will roar, that I will do my man's heart good to hear me. I will roar, that I will make the Duke say, 'Let him roar again, let him roar again,'" which means the Nick Bottom is saying here that, "Let me play the line too. I will roar so well that it will be an inspiration to anyone who hears me. I will roar so well that the Duke will say, 'Let him roar again, let him roar again.'" Peter Quince replied for that, "And you should do it too terribly. You should fright the Duchess and the ladies, that they would shriek, and that were enough to hang us all," which means, if you roar too terribly and frighteningly, you will scare the Duchess and the other ladies and make them scream, and that would get us all executed, which means punished. All others said, "That would hang us, every mother's son," which means they all agreed with the comment of Peter Quince, and they said, "Yeah, that would get every single one of us executed."